button, and I'm gonna post this out now. I'll post it on here. Slash poll. Alright. So I'm just posting it out. Feel free to post it anywhere you want to as well.
I'll probably know none of my friends care about it. It has more chances of it being seen by people that would care about it if you actually post it. For some reason, nobody's using my post. Sad poll.
Yeah, I'm just posting it out now. To
oh,
Twitter, Discord, all those places.
There.
I should use Discord here, not on my computer though, because I know what'll happen if I do.
Was that Patsoner?
Hi?
Are you Patsoner?
Sorry?
Was that Patsoner? Yes, it is Patsoner. Yeah, I can hear it.
Oh, you can hear it?
Yes, it is Patsoner.
Oh, so can you hear yourself?
No.
No, okay, that's good. So it cancels out. It at least cancels your audio out, but you can hear mine, which is funny. All right, I'm just gonna leave the dashboard up there. Okay, there's a few people on already. So guys, just quickly, if you have tuned in, let us know if there's any audio issues. Because I don't want to have like a million audio issues and then have the interview sound like crap. Because that happened to the Dane Sun video and I'm mortified. Yes, it is almost time. So yeah. Almost time. Yeah,
we're right on schedule, by the way.
Yeah, no, I try to stay on schedule. I try to be sort of on the dot. So yeah, that's why I was like, okay, half hour beforehand, let's try and get it all ready and going. But yeah.
Yeah, I know it was coming up really soon. That was gonna be my last song, by the way.
Yeah, it's alright, don't worry.
Instead of trying it again, I just decided to close the game.
I don't hear
I didn't want to risk it.
Patsoner loud enough. Alright, maybe I can boost the audio a little bit. Okay, I'll put it up that loud. I'm just worried that the audio is gonna overtake the interview and stuff, so... Should be alright though. Hopefully. Don't hear Patsoner loud enough, it's fine. You sound fine. Does LOBI sound fine? That's the more important thing. What does that mean? I've never actually found this out.
What?
The Dos Jugadores, or what the guy wrote in chat.
Oh. Sorry, I'm not even looking at it. Let me just... What did he say?
So, Dos Jugadores, like Jugadores. Like, people are writing it everywhere, I don't know what it means.
Oh, Dios Jugador. It means God player. That's literally God player.
Oh, okay. Because, yeah, I saw it written, like, everywhere, and I was like, what the hell does that mean?
It started being... It actually came from God Gamer, you know?
Yeah.
Whenever people would post, like, very good scores or an extra hard clear that was actually really hard to achieve. Just random people would say God Gamer, and one day I just said Dios Jugador, and it just... boom.
Yeah, okay.
Now everybody says it.
Well, I guess that's going in the title after I'm finished.
That's embarrassing, but it's my baby meme. I'm glad it boomed.
Alright, so I think we're smack bang on time. Are you ready to get started?
Yeah.
Alright, is everyone in chat ready to get started? We're gonna have to wait like 30 seconds for that answer, but... Alright, let's kick things off. Do the general intro. G'day everyone, DJ DARQs here for another 2DX interview. Today we have a player that has been requested quite a bit actually throughout time. I think for the last 3 years people said, hey, how come you haven't interviewed this guy? And I was like, well, I've never spoken to this guy. So I can't really, but recently we did get in touch. I said to him, hey, let's get this sorted out to the request demand party. And today we have for you DJ LOBI / Pol, or is it Andre?
I mean, you can call me whatever you want. LOBI, I mean, I could explain it, but my original name is actually Pol. LOBI is just it's the account of my boyfriend on South, and I just use it, but it's stuck with it, so I don't want to confuse people, so I just let people call me LOBI.
Alright, we'll run with LOBI or Pol, either way. Do you want to give a general introduction to yourself, sort of where you're from, how old you are, what you're up to, just you as a person in general? Introduce yourself to the community.
Well, first of all, my name is Andres Bofil, and I'm from region of Valparaíso, Viña del Mar, Chile. It's like in the center of Chile, and I'm currently 28 years old. Yeah, maybe the hair reveals that I'm actually kind of old, but yeah, the thing is, a lot of people don't really hear about me because I'm actually I used to be a very secluded player and didn't really talk much with the community, but right now, since globalization and the booming of the 2DX scene, a lot of people have gotten to know me a bit better.
Yeah, that's a really good thing. So where were you from again? Sorry, I didn't catch that. Is it Mexico or?
It's in Chile. It's a city called Viña del Mar.
Okay, awesome. Wow. So,
or you can or Valparaíso. It's actually a bit more known. I'm right next to it, so you can just say Valparaíso.
Okay, fantastic. Because yeah, I always was under the impression that you were from America or the UK, and people are like, nah, man, he's from like South America, like nowhere near anything.
You would have seen me. You would have seen me at a meeting if I was from that. If I was that close to America. One of the reasons I don't go there is because I don't know. It's really expensive to go from here.
Yeah. No, absolutely. So that begs the question: how did a person from Chile get into an exotic music game like 2DX? Like, where did it all start?
First of all, it all started with a very special machine to me that was in the local shopping center. It was a easy to DJ second tracks machine.
Oh, wow.
That's where I started playing these kinds of games. And by the way, no trash talking easy to DJ second tracks. It's a great game. Please, no trash talk. I'll kill you.
So the first music game you played was not a Konami game. It was actually easy to DJ.
No, it was DDR. It was DDR.
Oh, okay.
Right next, I used to go play DDR at that shopping mall, and one day they brought out of nowhere an easy to DJ second tracks machine, and I started playing it out of curiosity, and I just enjoyed it way, like the playstyle. I liked it way more than DDR.
Oh my god.
I still play DDR, but it easily became my most played game.
Oh, fantastic.
And it was really cheap. It was really cheap. It was like $0.25, like
a quarter?
Equivalent. No, it was like the equivalent to like 10 cents at the time.
Wow. Okay, that's super
really cheap to play.
So was this your local arcade that you used to go to? So how old were you around this time when you started playing Easy to DJ?
I was like, I think it was I was 16 years old. Yeah, 16 years old. Because I actually got to know Beatmania 1 year something after, and that was right when like Happy Sky got released. So it has to be like 2006, something like that.
Oh yeah, wow. Okay, so around 2006-ish is where you first started playing 2DX. Did you import a controller or anything like that?
I mean, I don't know if it was luck or anything, but as soon as I knew about Beatmania and got myself a pirated DVD of Happy Sky, I randomly went to see if they had a controller downtown, and I found two, and I bought two.
Unbelievable.
And they never restocked them. I actually took the two last ones they had.
Holy cow! So you actually had locally sold 2DX controllers?
Yeah. Yeah, like one of the local shops brought them. Maybe they just went for a gamble. They got them, I don't know, cheap, and they didn't know what to do with them, so they just put them in the on display. And I had just started playing, and I just happened to walk by it, and I just instantly bought it.
What are the chances of that happening? Because, I mean, every other player I've spoken to had to import their controller from Japan. Your local game store just happened to have them. That's crazy.
For some reason, here, it was the only shop that it had them. But there was a lot of shops in Santiago that actually happened too. So it wasn't really a coincidence. There was a lot of demand. Like for those 3 or 4 months, there was a lot of demand. I don't know why. There were like a lot of players and then they disappeared. They took all the controls and disappeared. One of them was me.
So on that topic, actually, what I wanted to ask about was sort of your arcade scene. Now, it doesn't have to be specifically 2DX, but when you were 16, you know, getting into rhythm games and things like that, what was the scene like in your local arcade then?
Well, first of all, there was no 2DX scene, mainly because there was no machine, but there was a pretty, I wouldn't say good, but pretty decent DDR scene, and mainly a Pump It Up scene.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still the case, like people mainly play Pump It Up now.
Oh yeah, I've recently got into Pump It Up, and I've got to say, I actually really love the game. I like going from DDR to Pump It Up.
I used to play it too, and I actually got to a very decent level, and I don't know why I stopped. I think, like, there was a specific year where all machines were in bad conditions, nobody was willing to maintain them, and so there was, like, it was kind of like a void year, where nobody played anything, and after that, a lot of people didn't really bother coming back once we started getting new machines. Oh, I remember, like, every machine started being messed up, and then suddenly a supernova appeared, a DDR supernova that kind of revived the scene for a little bit.
Well, that's cool.
But besides that, the entire scene was like focused on Santiago, and it was mainly a DDRX and Pump It Up, but they didn't really bring newer versions other than that. They just kept going for Pump It Up, and then. And right now, you can't say there's a scene besides that game. You cannot say there's anything more than that.
So in contrast, there's little to no scene of 2DX, or there wasn't then and there isn't now, so there's never really been a scene for 2DX.
I mean, there's always been like a small scene in the background with CS games, but when we got, well, I think this happened everywhere, to be honest. After Empress CS got released and there was no news of Series CS, obviously a lot of scenes died out. Luckily, one of the arcade centers in Santiago got a Series machine that didn't get updated till like, I don't know, 4 years later. But it kept the scene alive. Like if you go to Santiago and you happen to be there, you would play. And you would see like 2 or 3 people play.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't that.
So during that CS era, you said there was a few players around. So did you have sort of like an online community that kept that alive?
Not really. It was just players scattered around, and it was mainly focused around one specific player that just doesn't play anymore. But I gotta give him a shout out. I'm sure he's not gonna understand what I'm saying because he really doesn't know any English. And second, he just doesn't care about the game anymore. But he was a really important key player in that time because not only did he show me the game, but he also showed every friend of his that was interested in music games. He showed all of them the game. A lot of them actually kept playing for like at least 4 years. I'm the only one left from that generation, but it still made the scene kind of exist, you know?
Wow.
That player is DJ Blaster.
Yeah.
And he goes by the surname Blast. And a lot of players will recognize him from getting a Gigadelic D video, and I think it's still on YouTube. Like a D on Gigadelic. He was really known for clearing everything, but he would get like a D or a C on everything.
Wow.
His reading ability was out of this world for that time. He could clear everything, while nobody else would like get even close to a 12, and he would clear every 12, but with very bad grades.
That's amazing though, like really that one player sort of rallied all these people to the game in your area.
Yeah, it only takes one player, and that player has to be like passionate and show everyone else the game, and that's all it takes to make a scene. I mean, maybe not boom, but it does make it exist.
And that's the thing, I mean, you're the player you are today because of him, so that's really amazing.
Yeah.
Because one thing that...
I had to mention him, it's really important what he did.
Yeah, one thing I've always been curious about is the scene in Chile, like if there was a scene, is a scene, etc. So that's around those CS days, he was the guy who sort of really pushed for that scene and motivated people. And then as you said, once CS finished, that sort of died out. Did you?
I mean, he kept playing, but for some reason he stopped. He just stopped. As soon as I started getting close to his level, and it was started getting interesting for both of us. Like we weren't really rivals because his skill level was way ahead of mine. I was just starting out.
Yeah.
But as soon as I started getting close and we were actually having fun, I don't know what happened with him, but he had to stop playing for a reason. I don't really know much about his personal life, but there was clearly the day before and the day after, and he just stopped playing.
That's really sad to hear. Do you still talk to him at all?
Yeah, I got him on social media, and we don't really talk regularly, but I do see his comments, and he sometimes, I don't know, notices my comments. And he obviously, when I get a decent score or something, he will probably know.
Yeah. So actually, I wanted to now come back onto playing CS. So, did you have a Japanese controller or a US one? Was it?
It was a US one.
Okay, so it was an imported US. Okay, so that makes a bit more sense, because if it was a Japanese one, my mind would have literally exploded, because that would have been impossible to get.
At the time, I didn't know the difference, to be honest.
Yeah. Even still, so you played on US KOC, and you were playing, obviously, illegally burnt Japanese styles like I was. But, did you play mostly singles, or did you play doubles as well, seeing as you had two controllers?
I was able to play doubles till like I got to level 10 or something like that. I have to have, in one of my computers there has to be a video of me clearing Dirty of Loudness doubles.
Nice.
814.
Yeah.
But that was the most I did, and it's honestly one of the easier 10s in my opinion. But that's all I did. It was like 1 month of playing, and after that, I think that there was a moment where that player I told you about, his controller broke down, and I lent him one of mine.
Oh, that's really nice.
So I couldn't play doubles anymore, but it was more important to me to keep him playing, you know?
Yeah, of course, of course. So did you ever actually stop? Like, was there a point where, you know, CS died off where you sort of lost motivation as well?
Well, after I got my DAO controller back in, I don't remember exactly when it was. I think it was 2011. Yeah, 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got my controller on that year. I played, I mean, I had stopped playing for like 2 years before that, or I didn't really play that much. I just played like once a week, once a month sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
I was focused on other stuff by that time. But after I got my DAO, I started playing hardcore again, but that didn't really, it didn't take me anywhere. I mean, it was just 1 year of hardcore playing, and then I stopped again until like Tricoro era.
Oh wow, okay.
And that was mainly because everybody else quit. Like my friend quit. Obviously, when he quit and everybody else started quitting, I was like, okay, this is it. There's no reason to play anymore.
So
I started worrying about other things.
Yeah. So you'd say that a lot of the driving force between you being motivated for the game came from your local community that then was on a decline. So you also stopped. Yeah, that's really interesting because you know, a lot of people take different perspectives on that, saying, you know, you should be self-driven. A lot of other people say it's the people around you, but yeah, no, it's
obviously a mixture of both, to be honest. I mean, you can play and try to get better all you want, but in the end, I don't know. It's still a game that it's meant to be fun. I mean, you can treat it like an esport. You can treat it like a very serious thing, which I do. But I also like to share my experiences with the game.
Of course.
You know, I like to do that. I mean, that's who I am. I wouldn't be able to play this game if nobody else played it here. I wouldn't have even cared about it.
Yeah, of course. No, it's a really good thing to hear because it sort of reverberates that community aspect of the game. Now, I wanted to continue the timeline. I just wanted to ask about CS. So after CS, sorry. What brought you back after that 2 years?
Obviously, I knew about, I started knowing a bit about the advancements of the private servers and stuff like that. And once it was actually really completed and playable without any complications, like the server was actually functioning really well, that's where I got interest again. But it wasn't just that. I met another player that had been in the dark because he was mainly from Santiago and he would not come to my city. But I met him on a random LOL match, and he made a comment in the LOL match, like during the LOL match. He was on an enemy team, and I don't know what the comment was, but I messaged him after and I asked him, "Do you play with Mania?" I don't know what the comment was, but I just had to ask him. I can't tell the details. But he told me yes, and he was just that year renting at an apartment in my city, and we met. And it happens that he was playing on these private servers for a long time, and he was really good at it. A lot of people will know him as DJ Nospa.
Oh yeah? Okay, so did you then get access to that? And I think you must be talking about the old, was it P Sun, was it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And was this during Tricoro, or was this
It was yeah. I don't remember if it was just after Tricoro got released, but I think it was in April, so yeah, it was like Tricoro was at least running for like 5 months or something, 6 months.
Yeah, because I mean the scene really exploded around that Tricoro era. That's when I sort of started.
That brought everybody back, to be honest. But it only took a random encounter on a login because it was actually dead. He was playing on his own, and after he actually rediscovered me because apparently he had gathered a lot of players and brought them to play on P-Sun. And then he rediscovered that I existed, and I got introduced to the community once again.
Okay, so obviously at this point, because I mean I was playing as well, did you start interacting with the community a bit more on Facebook and things like that?
Exactly. Like as soon as I knew that he was playing, and obviously it hooked me up that he was actually really good in comparison to my skill level. So that got me really excited, and I rivaled him instantly as soon as I set everything up. And then before I knew it, I was meeting like 20 different players that I have never met before.
Man, that's really awesome to hear, to be honest. Yeah. Like, that's really cool.
This was before the Discord revolution and all of that, but it was still really significant for me.
No, absolutely, and I think that era was really important in the growth of 2DX overall. And on that note, so you've seen the progression then from, you know, CS, you've had sort of a local community, a local scene, you've then seen the private server, what I like to refer to as the golden era, where the game started really growing in the West. And, you know, a lot of more people had access, things were a lot more transparent, to now where we've got this Discord era, I call it, where you've got, you know, obviously people with a lot of online interaction and a lot of, you know, the same qualities of that golden era, but now sort of more face-to-face. How do you think about the direction community-wise for the game at the moment? Like, what do you think about it, and where do you think it's going?
I think it clearly has evolved in a way that it's really easy for someone to like find it, analyze it, and decide if you want to play or not. And it's just that, it's the decision. Do I want to play? And if it's yes, you can just start playing. It's really easy to do now. It's really easy to do now with how private servers and the Discords and the community has grown in that aspect. I just don't like it that there's many private servers. That's my personal opinion. Because it's kind of splitting the community a bit. But it still works a bit, I guess. I mean, we're still in the same community.
Wait, so you mean
that's
like...
That's the only thing I don't like. It's just a lot of private servers that appeared out of nowhere.
So if you think things were more localized, that we'd see a better growth or a better inclusion overall, do you think it would be better if it was one, like, centralized server or one centralized place where people go to, as opposed to this fragmentation?
I mean, I think it would have been a bit better. I mean, you would see more activity. I mean, right now, if you merge the activity of all the servers together, it's actually pretty significant activity, things considered. But it seems not dead, but it seems slower than like 2 years ago in terms of like score activity, player activity. A lot of people don't. I mean, I think it gives me the impression that a lot of people didn't really like talking to people that much, and they've resorted to just playing alone right now. Even though they are just one text box away from all the players, you know?
Yeah, and I think that's one thing I noticed when instant messaging sort of came around as well. Like, I found that I had a bit of a disconnect with my real-life friends once, you know, they were literally a text box away, as opposed to, you know, when you had to make that effort to text or call. And same thing, I think, with 2DX. Now that everyone's so close away, I think there's been a small degree of disengage, which I think is pretty interesting.
At least we're able to have a functioning platform. In my opinion, that's the positive outcome from all of this. Even if if people disagree, if there should be more servers, or if it should be centralized, I think we can all agree that at least the platform is set up so that new players can come in, look around, and obviously there's more locations for machines, for legitimate machines and stuff like that. I personally don't have that option, but it seems to me that a lot of people who didn't have that option before do have it now, especially with Infinitus.
Yeah, and you see, I obviously play Infinitus a lot, and I advocate for it because I think it's... I mean, people are very spoilt with what they have at the moment, but when you think of what Infinitus is compared to CS, you know, I do say, look, it is something that's good. If you don't factor in the other not so, you know, Konami-friendly options. So, given what we have now, yeah, absolutely, I agree. I think the platform's in a really good place, but yeah, obviously, you know, it could be fine-tuned in the future. What about the game in general? So obviously, you've played since Happy Sky, which is one of the more traditional, sort of further back styles. Not like way back, but sort of that...
I still consider Happy Sky, like, kind of modern. Because I still, actually, after knowing Happy Skies, I still downloaded everything else that came before that. And I tried it out, and there's really a change that happened after Happy Sky.
Yeah,
so I think was like...
yeah, that red Happy Sky era sort of was what I like to think is like that second generation of games. Because, you know, you had, like, you know, 8th style up to 10th, where you sort of have that transition. Then from red to all the way through to, I think, about Linkle. You've got that sort of... that new generation. But given the way that the game's progressed, what do you think about the way the game's going now? So obviously with this new generation, like post-Pendule, you know, Cannonballers sort of styles, what do you think about those?
I like that they're trying to magnify the significance of certain events. Like there's like a phase A, phase B, and phase C for every version of the game. And I like that they play around with that. A lot of them are really lackluster, but some of them are really nice. For example, I didn't really partake in that, but I did enjoy stuff like, you know, that like puzzle or like progression kind of table that you had in Tricoro, where you would get like proof of the existence and stuff like that, and end up with Plan 8.
Yeah,
I really like those kinds of events.
Yeah, I thought that Event B was the best. C, on the other hand, was an absolute nightmare. Like, doing the bosses, unless you had access to other machines, oh man, that thing was terrible.
I just like that they try to do stuff like that, even if it ends up being boring, or in comparison, one is better than the other. It's nice that they try to do something like that, because I think that there was a moment in time after Distorted that special events actually declined. Like, I think that Distorted is a really special game for me, mainly because they started giving more focus to extra content, the different extra stages. They started giving some significance to them. We started having themes, you know, themes that we can actually relate to the entire version of the entire style, and say that this style was about this other style was about that. Another one that I like that repeats that in the same fashion is like Series and Resort Anthem. Even though Series is really wasn't really that great of a style, but I like that it served as like a cornerstone for that kind of design.
Yeah, and I think the unlock system in 2DX is fantastic. I mean, obviously you have some hit and miss, but yeah, the fact that it gets people engaged that way is really good. I've gone through a few of the unlock events, and as I said, you get some hit and miss ones, but overall, yeah, like going from having CS, where everything was basically unlocked through codes, to now, where you've got actual events and stuff at the arcade, it really does motivate you. What about in terms of songs and charts? Obviously, you've seen the difficulty progression, the game's getting harder and harder. you also see that there's been a shift in the music, the way that the music's been introduced. So, you know, it used to be a lot of trancey, housey stuff. Now we see more electro sort of style stuff. How do you think of it? What do you think about the music direction and the difficulty change in the game?
But there's always, in every version, regardless of the opinion that people may have about them, there's always a few gems in every version that you will always remember. But I don't think, I think the charts are getting very repetitive lately, and I don't mean that the music is repetitive. I don't know if it was just the feeling that because there weren't a lot of swung charts or offset note type of charts or fast scale charts, and they started doing them just to fill the void. But it seems like a lot of 12s lately, and even a lot of 10s lately, have that kind of mechanic in place, and it starts getting repetitive. Like stuff like the new Vermilion from Cinnabus, which is has very fast scales, and it's actually really hard to time. But before that, it felt like those types of charts were unique, and now they aren't. They're like abusing types of charts and spamming them, and they're making them less special, in my opinion.
It's interesting that you say that, because I had a similar feel for Empress. When I played Empress, I thought the game's sort of hitting a stagnant point where a lot of the charts are feeling the same. But something interesting that I noticed, because I recently went on a trip and played Cannonballers just for like a weekend, there's a very distinct chart style to the newer stuff compared to older stuff, because, you know, I've been playing a lot of sort of serious Resort Anthem Linkle era stuff. You know, when you play that, then you play the newer stuff, like I played Esperanza recently, man, that I got killed just because there's so many components to that song that you're not used to. Like, that style of charting is very different to the stuff that you're exposed to in earlier styles, so I feel like there has been a shift. Have you sort of noticed that as well?
I mean, yes, the thing is, if you actually play a lot of Cinnabus, it wouldn't be a surprise of that. Like, that style of charting would not be a surprise for you in Cannonball. That's the thing. From the last 3 styles, there's a lot of those types of charts, and it has felt that they are trying to take what used to be something special, and now it's mainstream. And like the type of charts, like density charts and like chord type of charts, are not really that present.
So what would you like to see more of in the game chart-wise then? Because you're saying, you know, they're taking these special aspects. If you were a designer for charts, then what would you do to change the charts? What would you do in the next style to improve the direction that the charts are going?
So flan on every song? No, obviously not. I would not soft plan every song. That would kill the game. I like soft plan songs, but I know that it would kill the game. Nobody likes it. No, but the thing is, I would like to see more representations of certain styles. Like right now, with stuff like Mare Nectaris, you would, like, that style of chart has like the highest difficult chart you can do with that type of techniques with charting. But there's other types of, like, I don't think there's a really, really hard song that has mainly chords in mind, you know? I would take a lot of different styles and try to give those styles a really, really hard boss song. Because the hardest songs right now in the game are all kind of like high BPM, very fast scales, like bursts of notes at the very end, like really hard scratching, like 30-second scratches and stuff like that, you know? Oh, yeah. Like there's some styles that are overrepresented on the highest skill level. I would try to pick other styles that are more representative of lower skill level, like chord mashing, and I would try to give that sort of style a boss song, because I don't see that much. Plan 8 might be one of them, but it has a lot of scratching too.
Yeah, okay, so you think like Plan 8 sort of difficulty should be one of the more focused, like one of the higher focuses?
I mean, it's representative of that style of charting when you go to a high skill level. Like, what's a really difficult song that has a lot of chords at the end? Well, besides the scratching, I do think it's Plan 8. And it might be elemental creation, but elemental creation doesn't really end with a lot of chords. It ends with a lot of scales, with double scales.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think of things like Emeraldus that recently came out, which sort of has all of those components in it, like every component of the game?
I do like that chart. I can't wait to play it. I did like it. I did like it a lot as soon as I saw it. And music-wise, it wasn't... I mean, I didn't love it, but it was good. It felt like a boss song. That's actually important. Like music needs to... the music itself needs to represent what it is in the game. Like, it's not just music. It's music in a game, and it's supposed to be a boss song. And I think Emeraldas actually represents a boss song.
Yeah.
That's the kind of good thing that I would like to see. Like, songs representing what they actually mean in the game. Not only just that they have to be good music and good charting. They actually need to evoke a certain feeling that, and it needs to remind you that, hey, I'm a boss song. It needs to have that vibe.
And I think that Distorted, you know, Nageki really highlighted that sort of thing.
Yeah,
you knew that Nageki was a boss song.
You notice that that a song is a boss song, and even the extra stages, like the 11s, like Contract, which was the others? Waxing and Wanding, and which was the other one? And Do It.
Ganymede and
Steel Needle. Oh no, Steel Needle wasn't Troopers. No, Do It wasn't Troopers.
It was Ganymede, wasn't it? Ganymede.
Yeah, Ganymede. They were noticeably harder, or not really harder, trickier than the rest of the 11s in the same style.
Well, that was because, you know, Kaganotori... Well, Kaganotori was an 11 back then, so...
yeah.
And Jutsamura and things like that. But, I mean, they're realistically 12, so you can't really, put them in the same boat. So, obviously, you've got that nostalgic part, and you've got that ideal sort of representation in later styles. So, you reckon sort of a distorted style, like, theme with a really... defined boss song sort of thing. So obviously you've got that emphasis on the harder charts. What about sort of the lower difficulty charts? Because I remember you mentioning 10s. What would you like to see happen in sort of that mid-range, like 9, 10s sort of area for charts?
I haven't really thought about it because I'm a player that actually plays a lot of 9s and 10s. So I tend to enjoy them a lot. Like, I think the main focus of the game, even though you have to give progression, I mean, to get to higher skill levels with 11s and 12s and really hard 12s, and eventually they're going to introduce 13, I know. But the thing is, I do still think that the backbone of the game are 10s, you know, mid difficulty 10s. I would like to see a lot of 10s. I mean, it's probably already that way because I'm a bit spoiled because, you know, private servers, you get everything at once. You don't really have the experience of unlocking. Maybe it's already that way. But if I had to experience the game, I would love if there was a lot of 10s unlockable. It's a nice you get. It's like a prize. Like, you get to play this awesome song. It's a 10. You can enjoy it. Like, I don't really think that playing boss songs has to be like a prize. Like, hey, you unlock this boss song and now you can play it every time you want. But a boss song is not something I would play for fun. For fun, I would play a 10. So a lot of interesting charts need to be focused on 10 and be giving us prizes. You know, not really be hidden behind like paywalls and stuff like that. Some of them can be hidden behind like difficult challenges and stuff. But I would like to see a lot of 10s being giving us prizes. Okay, because so that's like it's really important to actually enjoy them. I think a player that doesn't enjoy the game in every difficulty, I don't know what he's doing.
Well, I'm one of those because I can't do anything super difficult at the moment.
I mean, it's not really about if you can or you can't do it. It's about the game has an entire range of difficulties, and you can treat them whatever you like. Like, I do use 10s and 11s, and even 9s and 8s and 7s sometimes for training specific types of charting and timing, you know, and learn how to time them. I do think that every difficulty has its place in the game, and players need to actually learn to appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I was having this talk to someone earlier, actually, a few days ago, about playing normals and hypers as well, and I said, oh, I don't really play them, and he said, why not? And I said, because, you know, I feel like it's a waste of time when you can play the another, and he's like, yes, but, you know, you got to realize that there is a certain skill to playing normals and hypers too.
Oh, of course. Like, I would not play normals, obviously. But I would play hyper 10s, you know, because there's a lot of good charts that are hyper 10s and hyper 11s even. And they're really fun. And some of them are really difficult. I don't know if people have played Do Tomorrow Hyper. I don't know if they've played it, but it's actually hard. It's actually harder to AAA than another chart.
Wow, that's pretty amazing to hear. And the other thing as well is, you know, there's different music types for some songs. For example, did you know that Evan's hyper is completely different to the another?
Sorry, I did not hear that question.
Oh, sorry, I was just saying that Evan's hyper is a completely different song to the another. So,
oh yeah, I know that. I know that.
Yeah, so there's songs
I actually like it more. I don't really like it. I don't really like it shifting into something to accommodate another chart. I actually do enjoy the hyper music more.
Yeah, and I agree too. And there's cool stuff like Crew as well. I don't know if you played Crew from Cinnabuzz, but that had a different style song for the normal hyper and another.
I didn't know that, but I mean, I know there's a lot of examples. I personally love what they have done with stuff like which one? What's this song called? It got a legendary chart lately. Travelers of Time and Space or something.
Yeah, that one. I love that song.
It's also divided among. Yeah. It's a really long song and it's split between the charts.
Yeah, no, I love it when they do stuff like that. I really like what they.
Yeah. Shade also did the same thing, and I really like it. I'm still waiting for a Shade Legendary.
Man, Shade Legendary would be scary. Alright, so let's
it's bound to happen.
Okay, sorry, let's move on to the more sort of general information about you now. So I do need to ask, given what you've played, what is your all-time favorite style? Like, what's the style that you love the most?
Probably, I mean, just by playtime and what it means to me, it's distorted, but objectively, I didn't play the style, but I find something special with Resort Anthem. That would be my favorite style.
I really
even
love
though I didn't get to play
it. Yeah, no, it's a great style. What was it about Distorted then? Is it just the playtime itself, like how much you invested into it?
Actually, I like the theme. Believe it or not, I got really hooked up with the theme, and I really hate the fact that I was not able to play when it was the main version of the game. I really like the theme that they gave it.
Yeah, we had Distorted at the arcade for ages, and I was so happy when we had it. It was so fun to play. Like, yeah, it was a great arcade style as well. I'll give you that. Like, God, incredible. Alright, so now we're going to go into real specifics. I don't know if you saw this question or gave it some thought, but we're putting together an expert course. It's called the LOBI expert course, or the POL expert course. You have 4 songs that define you as a player. What would your 4 songs be?
Do they have to be in the game?
Yes, because we need to be able to play it. Let's say it's like let's say everything CS, everything AC, right? Everything like that's readily available for 2DX. What would you put as your 4 songs?
I have to. Is Macho Gang still in the game?
Yeah, Macho Gang's in there. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that would be my first song, to be honest. After that, it would be like Travelogue.
Travelogue, the swung song.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that thing's a nightmare.
Then after that, I would have to put. Obviously, Evergreen is not in the game, right?
No, Evergreen's in the game. Yeah. No, anything that was past, present, future, like whatever songs you want that are in 2DX, you can choose. So we've got Macho Gang, Travelogue, Evergreen, and what would your last song be?
And one last song. It has to be a 12 so that it's not that easy, but let's see. I actually really like Ongaku.
Oh wow, Ongaku. I was thinking you were going to pick Pluto. A lot of people were thinking Pluto, but...
No, right. But at least Ongaku is, I don't know.
That's true. So obviously you're really into sort of the swung timing style songs, which are a nightmare for me, but
it's just unique because I personally don't think, I mean, Machogang is special. It's really a very special chart because it has a lot of different things going on for it because it's mainly a jack chart, but it has a lot of offset scratches. That's really interesting. Like offset scratches are really it's a thing that you don't see very often. Another thing that has them is like feedback. That 10. I don't know if you
Oh man, yeah, no, feedback gave me nightmares.
That song also has offset scratches. I think that type of charting is really special and it's really unpredictable. A lot of people don't know how to do it.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. All right, so we're gonna flip the table over now. So that's like, you know, your favorites, the songs you really like. What songs do you think should not exist in 2DX? What songs do you absolutely despise in 2DX at the moment?
I mean, I'm not really someone that I don't think I have the right to say that certain songs shouldn't be in the game. But if it was, I don't know, up to me, I would not include. I'm sorry if I offend someone, but I would really not include anything that's like girly and high pitched. I would not include any of that. I just don't like it. I usually don't play those songs.
Yeah,
I just don't play them.
No,
They no play for the entire time. It's recent content, and even after that, I don't even have the curiosity of playing it. I just listened to the preview and I was like, nope, no, I don't want to play this.
It's funny that you say that because I mean, I remember John Shoop in his interview saying, "Yeah, Prim's the one thing he'd just get rid of instantly," but. It's fascinating because that's actually drawn in a lot of people to the game since.
I know. That's why I said at first that I have no right to say what should be in the game or not. It's just that I'm one of those people. Maybe because I'm just so used to the other type of music that got introduced in the past, and it's mainly because in my country you don't see that type of music very often. It's a very closed-minded country, so I've got it's kind of the culture of. It's a culture of not being accepting of those kind of things. So I just gotta be honest and say that I don't enjoy it. But of course, if it brings more people to the game, that's great. It's just not gonna be me. It's not gonna be people from that brings that kind of content is gonna bring more people.
Of course.
Not from here, at least.
All right. So let's now flip it over to the notes themselves. If you had to completely discard the song and how it sounds, what are some of the charts that you absolutely love in the game? So not the song itself, not I love that song, what are the charts that you're just like, God, I love playing that chart, regardless of the song?
This is actually a really hard question. And I am inclined to say Evergreen again because I do love that chart. I love the song, but I do love the chart. But just for the sake of varying a bit, I do enjoy playing Shade. I do actually enjoy that chart.
So those sort of 150 BPM denser 11 sort of style charts.
Yeah, it's just the other candidate could be Anthem Landing. Like Shade and Anthem Landing are just very special charts to me. Like every time I play them, regardless of score, regardless of random, regardless of anything, regardless of how I'm feeling currently playing, if I'm tired or anything, I always enjoy it. And
Yeah,
it's not about. I mean, I love the songs too, but the charts are just really well made.
Yeah, they've got a fantastic.
And they're nothing special. They're nothing special either. They're just constant BPM, very easy BPM to understand and get synced with. And it doesn't really have any surprises going for them. It's just a very chill chart on all their difficulties. I don't know if you've played Shade Hyper and Anthem Landing Hyper, but they're also very nice, very fun to play.
Yeah, no, great overall. Like, I can agree 100%. I love both of those charts as well. And thankfully they're in Infinitus, so... yeah. No, great to hear. Alright, so now on to you and your preferences in the game. So, first off, because I don't know if many people have seen any footage of you playing or anything, but can you enlighten people, what side do you play on, 1P or 2P?
1P.
Yeah?
1P, and that's mainly because I got taught to play on 1P by that same friend that I told you about. And and you know, I just never really tried 2P. I mean, I tried doubles like I told you, but I actually never had the curiosity of playing 2P for some reason.
Yeah, a lot of people sort of go to 1P first because that's the way the controller comes out of the box. So, oh, it's interesting. In terms of how you play now, did you start off playing 1048 or did you sort of transition into it?
I'm trying to remember what I used to play as a technique when I started playing, and I was probably all over the place like a lot of new players, but I didn't grow very fond of 1048. I was actually a bit more inclined to play symmetrical at the beginning, and I still kind of do a mixture of both depending on the chart.
Okay, it's interesting. So
because I do believe that there's a certain type of charts that favor one technique over the other.
Absolutely.
I just try to learn both of them. I think I can do 1048. I'm not no expert in 1048 by no means, but I can actually do it. I can actually wrist scratch. I can freeform if I can actually read it while freeforming. I think that at least getting exposed to at least a bit to every type of technique, it's really positive because it gives you another perspective of the game.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and I can agree 100%. What about scratching stuff? Can you one-hand when you're scratching?
Certain songs, like I can do it in stuff like what's this called? There's a lot of 11s that are really prone to that, like I can name a single one of them: Wonder Bullfighter, Digitank, like those types of charts that are really slow. I can actually one hand scratch.
But not the dentist stuff like beachside or anything like that.
What?
So not things like beachside or anything like that. You can.
No, I cannot do that yet. I cannot do that yet. I don't really practice them enough. I'm gonna be honest. I'm actually a really lazy player when it comes to like playing the difficulty that I should be playing to get better. But I do recognize that that's the aspect I should be working on. I cannot do those songs. I mean, maybe red I can do it. There's a lot of parts in red that are really difficult that somehow I can actually one-hand scratch.
Yeah.
Bounce Killer 2, I think I can kind of one-hand scratch that one.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So, that's in terms of hand placement and playstyle. What about your in-game settings? So, do you use lift first off?
I use lift, but I started using it because, it's a new thing. I'm just gonna use it with default settings, and for some reason I just got used to like default 124, I think it is. Something like that. Like 124 white number lift. It's like a really small lift. It's the default setting. I just started liking it. But I haven't really played around with it either.
Does it actually change anything though? Because I've never used it, so I don't know. Like, does it actually help with where you're looking on the screen or anything?
Yeah, I think it just has to do with the leveling between your eyes and where the node burst occurs. You know, like if the screen is actually at a proper height, I don't think you actually need it.
Yeah, so it comes down to just your setup then, I guess, and
your setup and how the screen is actually leveled in relation to your head and the way you look, because a lot of people don't actually look straight; they just look a bit downwards. Some people actually look a bit upwards. I don't know. It really depends on that.
Okay, that's interesting. So, contrast to that, where's your sudden plus setting and what green number are you using?
My sudden plus is always around in between 370 and 300, depending on the song.
Okay, and green number on top of that? What do you play at usually?
273 to 275 whenever I start playing, and it can go as low as 265 when I'm actually really, I don't know, like focused. Like sometimes when you're actually really focused and you have all your senses working together, you tend to react really fast. So I have to like lower, or I would get like a ton of fast. You can actually see that a lot of screenshots I post, there's a lot of fasts, because that's actually when I'm on my best when on my best mood. I can actually read and time everything.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, because I mean, most people find the comfortable range to be sort of, you know, the 280 to like 290 range. So 270 is really fast, honestly.
Yeah, it's really fast. But honestly, I tend to think it's slow whenever I'm actually when I think I'm playing well and I've actually warmed up a lot. 273, I tend to get a lot of fast.
Oh, very nice. Awesome. Okay, so now I'll ask about the general hardware you're playing on. What do you use to play on at the moment? So in terms of computer and monitor and things like that, what are you playing on?
Well, I think the most important aspect right now is to mention the monitor. I use a BenQ. It's one of the series that had the 120 hertz gaming monitors, a BenQ of 24 inches. And it's actually amazing. I just cannot speak. I cannot speak more virtues about this monitor. It just really served me right. I just love this brand. It has just very small delay. It's good for everything I've done for actually working and playing. And even though it's old by today's standards, it's just a very balanced monitor that will. And I shouldn't be that expensive right now. For my computer, I just use a Ryzen 7 coupled with an old GTX 670 NVIDIA card. I just haven't felt the need to update that, but I did update the CPU to a Ryzen 7, and it's actually been really nice. And since it has a lot of cores, I can actually play and not have to close anything, and it still keeps it.
That's awesome.
It's still on sync.
That's really, really cool. Because yeah, I'm playing on a toaster, so you know, hearing about these nice setups, you know, one can dream. Alright, as for the controller, now this is something you pointed out. Your controller's actually in the background at the moment. What are you playing on at the moment? It's a DAO. What kind of DAO?
It's an old generation FP7, and it's really, really worn out. Like, if I actually showed it very close, it's actually embarrassing. It's not clean at all. I don't really treat it properly. And I have a project sitting in the, I mean, not in my room, but I have like drawings and all of that for a new design that I will eventually build as soon as I get out of college, which is long overdue. That might be done in like 1 month. That's
awesome.
But I have a two-player controller in the makeup right now. Because that one is too old, and I cannot import. I don't really have that much money to import a new one. I would go broke if I actually import a red, you know?
Yeah, no, so obviously building's a good option. What about your keys? What's your preference for springs and switches? This is a big one for some people. What do you usually play on?
It's a really weird setup. I use 60-50. I mean 50-60 in key 1, and all the rest is 20-60.
Whoa, hang on. So you got different springs and switches in all of your keys? Yeah. Wow, that's really different to what most other people do. What's the reasoning for that?
I don't know. It's just that I feel more comfortable with my thumb hitting a harder to match key. I don't know. It just has a better feeling to it. Obviously, I mean, you can think a lot of people can think it's cheating, weird, whatever they like, but that's how it works for me. And
that's so
the 20-gram switches are actually really nice. As soon as I saw that there was a new version of the switches, I went into Mouser and imported them. It costed me, like, the importation fees were crazy for just a bunch of switches, but they're really worth it. You know, the ones that have like the red switch? It's like a newer version that got released like 2 years ago or something. I mean, I don't really know the release date, but it's clearly a newer version. And it sounds way better than the old, like the regular 50-gram switches. Which are still good, to be honest. I still have a couple in.
Really interesting that you say that, though, because, like, yeah, I haven't heard of many people diverging to things that aren't Omron. So wait, are these Omron switches from Mouser? Are these Omron? Are these Omron brand switches, or are they a different?
Yeah, they're Omron.
Oh, so there's a.
I've always kept to Omron and Sunwell. I've never really. I mean, I tried some cheap Chinese buttons, but they actually break a lot. They actually break a lot. I've never had a Sunwell break on me, ever. Oh, I think my sound died. 1 second.
Oh, sorry, no, that's me, sorry.
It was actually
my mistake.
that.
I was just asking on top of that, so what springs are you using then with those switches?
60-gram springs, the ones that you can get on Rapid.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So as long as you got those 60-gram springs in, at least that's decent. Because if you were playing low switch, low spring, I'd be really astounded. You know, like 2020, I think.
Yeah, no, it doesn't really work. Like the button can actually press itself. But I don't really like that. I don't really like that when it's like too low. Okay. I've played with like 10-gram switches, even like really bad quality ones, but they're like 10-gram, and they are so bad. I cannot believe people play with such low settings. One thing is to go 20 plus 60, but another thing is to go like 20-20, 15-20, or 50 springless. You know, crazy shit like that.
I don't think 50 springless. Like I tested, that's basically.
I don't think that. I think that doesn't work at all. But...
yeah. All right. So let's go into you as a player now. I had a quick glance at some of your scores and I was gobsmacked. I was just like, oh my god, he hasn't scored that high. What's your most defining accomplishment as of now? So if you had to say to someone, I'm the guy who did X, what would you say is your big accomplishment right now?
It has to be my AAA on Go Beyond. It really has to be that score.
Wow, that's absolutely crazy.
I mean, it was one of the lucky randoms that the thing is, even the lucky random has its difficulties. Like the start of the lucky random, since you have to get like a mixture of some sort of pattern with 3 7 5 6. I mean 4 7 5 6. You can lose like 50 points easily with rolls like that, you know.
Yeah, no, it's still tricky.
Just for the sake of getting the slap in the midsection, and there's still the jacks. You can still mess up the slap just by not hitting the jacks properly.
Yeah, so yeah, that's really amazing. Wow, like I hadn't seen that, so congratulations on that one. So on top of that, what are your strong areas in the game then? Like if you had to say what areas you're really strong at, where's your strong point for 2DX?
I do think that I do offset notes pretty well. I'm not the best player I've seen on those. I've seen way better players than me on that aspect, but I tend to be way better than average. Scratching, while I do have problems with one-hand scratching, I don't have problems timing my scratches. I do think that's a really strong point for me. You know. Yeah. No, I have no problem getting really high scores on songs that have like certain scratching patterns. Like, let's say, I mean, it's not a great score, but I do think that I did pretty well on Caterpillar. You know, I do think my my Bounce Killer score, even though it's not yet a AAA, I do think it's pretty decent. It's like really close. 10 points away from it.
Look, if you can AAA any of those boss scratch songs, then yeah, you are good at scratching. Like, holy moly. They're really hard to time. So if you're in the AAA range for those, then yeah, that's really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, those songs honestly are really hard to do regardless of your skill level. But the thing is, I do think that I like to think that I have a strong point there, even though those parts of that aspect is also part of my weaknesses, you know?
And on the topic of your weakness then, let's do the flip side. What areas do you want to improve on in the game? Where do you sort of see a hole and you're like,
fast BPM songs, definitely. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that I got used to like low green number. It may have something to do with it, but I also don't really practice them enough. I don't really practice high BPM songs a lot. And since a lot of those songs usually are level 12, and I don't really spend much time playing level 12s, it was obvious that it was gonna end up being my least developed aspect.
Oh yeah, fair enough. So on that note then, if you were gonna play a session now after this interview, what scores, thinking back now, do you really need to improve on? What are those scores you're like, damn, I need to raise that?
I mean, obviously my worst score in comparison to everything else, like when you compare certain scores, certain achievements, I do think my May score is really low.
What have you got on May at the moment?
Something like a AA plus 100 something. I mean, it's good score for a lot of people, but I do think it's really bad considering that other achievements I've been able to do.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's still a double A on May. That's really impressive. So, yeah.
Also, yeah, I do have to get that double A on Mario Nectaris and Beachside Bunny. For some reason, I just cannot do it.
Well, you're crazy close to Beachside, aren't you? Like 4 points.
Yeah, it's like minus 20, minus 25, and Mario Nectaris is like minus 10.
Yeah, no, you could get those easily. It just would take a grind, obviously.
Yeah, but I do need to make this. Mario Nectaris is just strictly a very hard song, but Beachside Bunny double A is greatly overdue. I need to get that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, going on a flip side now from that, have you ever played BMS? Like, have you ever tried BMS before?
BMS as in actually in Lunatic Raid?
Yeah, so LR2 and like Hung Q, so Insane BMS. Have you tried that?
I've tried some of the, those modified hard drive versions that put like BMS songs in there, and actually enjoy a lot of them. But right now I'm not really playing them, but I have played them, and a lot of them are actually really good content that it has nothing to envy to the original game.
Yeah, so
it can stand. They can stand on its own as their own game.
Do you think that people need to play it to improve it all? Because I mean, the reason why a lot of people play BMS was to get that variety and density and stuff. Do you think you need it nowadays for 2DX?
I mean, it depends if you actually understand how a lot of the BMS chart works. We were actually talking with Horse right now about how certain BMS charts, even though they're like they have a really high note count and a really a great focus on density, a lot of those charts are made with a not really with a gimmick in mind, but they're made thinking about how you're gonna get through it. Like there's always a trick, a certain sequence of movements that you can actually do to break the chart, and regardless of how dense it is, you can still do it. I found that the hard way on the different versions of Air. You know that song, that Shiki song, Air?
Yeah, I know Air. It's an absolute classic.
Yeah. It looks, when you look at it in autoplay, it looks impossible, and then you play it, and you can actually do certain movements that you cannot see while you're watching the autoplay. But when you're playing it, you notice there's specific movements you can do to actually cheat the chart. You know, and a lot of charts in BMS are like that. There are a lot of other charts that aren't. But when people realize that, they can actually play around with it. But even though I played my fair share of BMS charts, I don't think it really helped me that much reading in 2DX. I mean, maybe you have to like play a lot of them and go into like really high difficulty BMS to actually notice a difference. And you gotta notice too that I play those BMS on hard drive hacks, so I didn't have the timing advantage at all. And I still didn't get better on reading just by playing those BMSs. Even though I played a lot of like Gengout.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Okay, well that's great to hear, because yeah, a lot of people say, oh, I need to play VMS to keep improving.
But it still helps. Like I think it does help if you actually play a lot of them, and you can identify which charts aren't that like don't have that little trick up their sleeve where you can actually cheat them a little bit. And also you gotta use random to actually break that little cheat.
Yeah, of course. And that's the thing, random's an absolute must. Like, if you're not playing on random, then you're not going to improve nearly as quick. So yeah. Alright.
It's just that a lot of people, I mean, I know most people actually do play on random, but the thing is, it's really easy to just identify what mod works the best for a certain song, and honestly not varying. It's like me putting super random on Switch, you know, like I haven't really played Switch. I mean, I have played it with super random, but honestly, my score, which is 9 points behind Mon Parties right now, it was not made with super random, because I noticed that with super random it would just be a matter of a day to actually get that score, you know. But I convinced myself that was not the way to go. I need to be able to get that score with random or non-random, you know, not just cheating with a super random.
Yeah, he told me to use super random recently on, I think it was Wargame, and it made Wargame like infinitely easier too. Like I got a 40 point
I should recall my words. It's not really cheating, but if you actually want to improve on that song, you need to be mindful that there are ways that are easier, and if you actually want to get better at that specific song, you should not abuse them. If you just go for the score, obviously but if you actually want to use it as getting better material, you shouldn't.
Absolutely. Now, on the point of rivaling people in scores, who do you consider your active rivals at the moment? Like, who are the people closest to your skill level?
I used to consider Buns as my most significant rival, but he actually went to another private server. But I still keep him in mind, I still keep him in mind as one of the strongest players out there.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, a rival that's still playing on the private server that I play on. It's obviously Mad Party, and even though he will say that no, that LOBI beats me on everything, I'm pretty sure that he had more time to actually farm a lot of the songs I beat him on. We would be 50-50, because there are songs that I just cannot beat him on, even though I tried my hardest to do it.
Oh, yeah. What about
So I really do consider him an equal, even though he has other weak points where I may shine on. There's some songs that I have like 200 more points than him, but then again he has like 90 more points on Mimiko,
wow.
90 more points on Proof of Existence, stuff like that. So it's obvious that we're pretty.
Yeah, that's great. What about V-Game T? Are you close to V-Game T, or?
I do think he's still better than me. Like even though I beat him on songs, he's just not active anymore. But I've always saw him like as an example. He's like a very good example of a player. He has a really balanced skill set. I haven't really watched him play a lot, but whenever he would stream, I would really like his technique. He was really consistent. He pretty much has a good score on every song. Like there's no song that he just cannot do.
Yeah.
That's a very positive aspect. And even though right now I may have a positive ratio against him, that's just because he doesn't play that way. I use ratios not really to say that someone is better or worse than me. I just use it as a matter of, this person can get this score, like this level of score. If I can actually surpass that, it doesn't mean I'm better than that person, but it means that I can actually just get to that level,
Yeah, absolutely.
And he would probably be able to get it back if he just doesn't do it or doesn't care, doesn't have the time. So people shouldn't see winning on a song or winning on every song as a definite victory.
Yeah, it's about the general level that the person's playing at, for sure.
Yeah, I've just gotten a better ratio against a lot of players, mainly because I just try harder and I just love playing every song. I love playing different charts, but that doesn't really make me a great player. I think what makes me a good player and being developed the right way as a player is the fact, one, that I genuinely enjoy the game. That's really important. If you don't enjoy the game, you shouldn't play.
Yeah, of course.
And second, I actually do believe that there's a really good, a very important focus that has to be done in timing. I do believe that that's the area a lot of players should be focusing on, and they get trapped into the clear mindset. Obviously, there's a balance between the two, but what makes me a good, where I can be a good example as a player to other players or newcomers is that you can get to the scores if you actually try. Like, I'm not a talented player. I need a lot of practice to achieve those scores. I'm everything but talented at this game.
Well, see, that's the thing. You say you're not talented, but when you look at the accomplishments...
But that's because I actually try hard, and I enjoy the process of trying.
Yeah. So I guess, is that... If you had to talk to a new player nowadays and give them some advice, what would you say to them?
A totally new player, I would say to him that he needs to find he needs to understand if he actually likes the game or not. Like, he needs to play for about a certain period of time and actually realize if he likes it or not. If he likes actually sucking at first and then liking the adrenaline of actually raising a score, getting better and better, if he likes that, he's just good to go, and he should just and from that point on, he can actually listen to other players too, like their input, that clearing is better, no, you should focus on hard clearing, extra hard clearing, or timing, but he needs to have at least a foundation where he is actually comfortable with the actual process of getting better. Since a lot of gaming right now goes around the concept of instant gratification.
Yeah.
A lot of players just see this game and they don't understand how people can enjoy them, because it doesn't matter what you do. Apparently, you always suck at the game.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. This game, you make your own challenges, you make your own thresholds, and you're the one that's responsible for feeling good about those achievements. I feel good about my achievements, and that's what's important. That's what keeps me going for another achievement that's even harder than what I did before.
Yeah, and that's the thing that really has kept me playing all this time, you know, 15 plus years. It's just that drive to keep going, because there's no limit. There's really no limit to this game. You can always improve on something. There's always somewhere to go. So.
And the other aspect is just, you shouldn't get discouraged because one player just beats you outright. I mean, I don't think I'll ever catch Pons, for example. I don't think I'll ever will. If he keeps playing, I probably will never catch him. At the rate he goes, I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. But I like to keep getting better and having him as an example and other better players as an example, because the focus on my play is me, not the others.
Yeah, absolutely. And I keep trying to tell people this, that it's, you know, it's an individual game. It's not me compared to someone. It's about improving yourself as a player. And
I mean, that's what's interesting a lot about arcade games in Japan. I recall, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's very uninformative documentary that happened. I don't remember which challenge did it, but they talked about how a lot of Japanese games, or Japanese arcade games, especially music games, like to exploit the fact that you need to become a better you every day.
That's a really good
like
way
that discipline. That discipline that these games project on yourself. That yourself, you're better than the you yesterday. You know, you're better than yesterday.
Absolutely. No, really good way to put it. And yeah. On that note, I've actually run out of questions. That's everything that we can cover.
I actually have the list of questions here to actually keep
yeah, no,
on the time.
You've done really well segueing through into the next part, so really good point there. So what I'll do now, I'll open it up to the chat if they have any questions for you, because I mean, a lot of people were writing stuff throughout the interview. Guys, if you wanted to throw those questions out now for poll, then we can ask them now. While they're doing that, a few other things that were here were, is there anything else that you're playing at the moment, aside from 2DX?
I'm playing WoW right now.
Oh, so you're back in World of Warcraft?
WoW and League of Legends. I'm actually pretty basic with gaming outside of 2DX. Yeah. It's like I play this really obscure music game, but besides that, I really play mainly mainstream games.
Yeah.
I don't play Fortnite though, I don't like it.
Alright, so we've got a question from Auric. What's the thing that sets you apart in progressing faster than the average 2DX player, who probably plays as much as you do?
That's the thing, I don't think I progress faster than a player that plays the same time as I do. I mean, if I recall, if I go back in time and set myself in a time where I actually played every day, like 3 hours a day and all of that, I don't think I progressed faster than players that did the exact same rhythm of playing or the same schedule. But let's say I am. Let's say I do progress faster. I do think it's what sets me apart of other players is that I actually try to find different focuses on every session. Like if something's not working in one session, I shift back to something else. Let's say that I'm trying to get this score or trying to get a new clear and it's just not working out. I try to instantly switch my focus to something that, one, I will enjoy more, because if I'm not enjoying the session, it's actually not productive at all. So let's say that I'm trying to get a Marinectaris, the clear Marinectaris, and I'm not making it. I haven't cleared it. Let's say I'm trying it and it's just not working out. I've tried like 30 times, it's not working out. So I just instantly switch my mindset to, okay, it's not working out, and I need to make something good out of this session. So I instantly go back, I close the 12 folder, go find songs that I like, I play them for like 30 minutes, try to at least get one better score on them, and try to get my mindset back in place, like being positive again and not having that, I suck, I cannot do this mindset. That's what I do that I think it's really positive during my sessions. I can easily move away from the I cannot do it to the but I don't care. You know, I easily move from I cannot do it, but I still enjoy this game.
That's fantastic, and I think you've just nailed Siggy's question, which is what you normally do when you're starting to get stressed out in a certain session. So you sort of killed 2 questions with one answer there. Awesome stuff. Oh. When did you first get kited?
I don't really remember. I think it was right at the beginning of, or right at the end of Tricoro. As soon as Spada got released for Program Sun, I think I had gotten it.
Wow.
Mainly because I knew it was getting easier, I rushed it on Tricoro. I think it was Spada that made it a bit easier.
I think that the timing in Spada was a little bit better from what I understood as well, so...
There was a version, I don't know if it was from Spada to Pendwell or from Tricoro to Spada, but I remember rushing kiting as soon as I knew that it was becoming easier, and I just didn't want to get the easier version. Ah,
okay. I think... No, because yeah, Spada added a beachside bunny, so I think Spada would have been harder, I mean, honestly, because it had beachside in it, but... Well, that's just me.
I actually, then it was from Spada to Pendwell because I actually did clear it with a beachside bunny.
Yeah, okay, nice. So it would have been Spada. Someone's asking, if applicable, can you give an example of how you were frustrated at 2DX and how you overcame it?
Let's say, I just cannot recall, I'm trying to recall a very recent example, which was, it was actually about when I tried to get my first AAA on Solid State Squad Legendarian. It's a really recent example. It's probably not the best one I could mention. There has to be others that happened way before, but I don't remember them. But what I did was I noticed that I was having trouble at the end, where the CNs would start kicking in. And I would just go from like a plus 150 AAA target to minus 80 or something like that, like atrocious ending. Oof. And what I did there was like, okay, since it's repeating every time I play, I noticed that, I mean, first of all, I acknowledged that I could do it, because I have AAA Alma Guest, and I know that I can AAA Solid State Squad, because I think it's easy. So what I did to overcome that frustration was, one, think of songs that I have already AAA that are actually harder. Whenever I get an answer to that question, I go and play that song a few times. And then I just came back and instantly got it.
Wow, that's interesting.
And I've been racing that score really, I mean, not constantly, but some a plus 10, then a plus 10, another plus 10. I've been able to race it consistently every time. Not every time I try, but every session I actually go and target that song. Oh,
nice. Very cool. So that's a good thing to say, because of the variety in the game now. You have enough charts to go and play other things, which is really cool. Okay, one question here. What's the longest session you've had for 2DX in terms of hours?
It would have to be in one of the meetings had in Santiago during the periods of Spada and Pendwell. I mean, we played like all night, basically. And since a lot of people started getting tired, and there were like a lot of setups scattered around, I was able to play for like all night long, like constantly, without interruptions.
Wow.
Obviously, I stopped to eat and go to the bathroom and stuff like that, but I would play a lot. And then I would go to bed or just lay on the floor somewhere, then wake up and start playing again, all sleepy. But
Oh, no, this is a really good one. One thing we didn't talk about is how you actually don't play with your controller on a table. You play with it on your lap. How have you not strained yourself playing with the controller on your lap?
I think one of the reasons, I mean, I'm gonna just say a very objective reason. I think it's because I actually play with light switches. I've never actually played with a heavy setup. I mean, I used to do it, but as soon as I saw that it was hurting me, I changed it right away. I think that's one of the objective reasons that it's not hurt. Second, I do believe that it's not as hard as you may think. And another thing that can relieve a lot of strain is the fact that I don't really focus on very hard songs. I'm pretty sure that if I played like Sigmund, like Legendaria, and Verflucht, like Legendaria, stuff like that all the time, I would actually be hurt.
Yeah,
but since I don't, it's not been a problem. But it's really not that hard as people may. I mean, it looks weird, and the only thing that it's actually difficult is, you know, the weird angle. Like you have to put your arm like this, like in a sort of like double perpendicular angle.
Yeah.
When you have to scratch, like it doesn't hurt, but it's really uncomfortable.
Would you ever, like, if someone donated you the perfect table to put the controller in the same spot, would you change to that, or would you still play on your lap?
I mean, probably the first time, I mean, it would go like this. I would try and be like, hey, I like it, but maybe I'll go back to playing with my lap, and then realize that the table is actually better.
Because
so it would be like sitting on the table, oh, this is nice, but I prefer the lap. And then lap, oh shit, this sucks. What have I been doing all this time? And then go back to the table. It would go like that, I think.
Yeah, because I reckon for scratches, it makes, like, I remember when I played on with the controller on my lap for the first time when I was coming back, I was like, oh my god, how does anyone do this? Because every time you try and scratch, the controller moves. So yeah, like, I reckon it'd improve scratching.
It doesn't move that much. I move more than the controller.
Yeah, but that was really fascinating that, yeah, you've played on your lap this whole time and you get the crazy scores that you get. Like, you know, everyone else I've seen, like, tries to keep their controller stable, but yeah. I think
that I've always had, I mean, this is a bit of a personal note for myself, but I've always tried to not really put so much effort on my setup, just to, like, it's not to discourage people, as many people may think, or to just be the cool guy that does something cool with whatever setup they have. But yeah. I actually do like that, but not in the sense that I want to discourage people. I actually want to encourage people to try and play with whatever they have. Like show them that it's not really a must to have the most expensive and I don't know, clean and perfect setup to actually do well. I actually do think that a lot of players would feel inclined to play more if they didn't really think bad of their own setup.
Yeah.
Because my setup is just a computer, the controller on my lap, and the computer has like stuff running in the background. It's not a dedicated computer. The hardware is all over the place. It's a Ryzen with 70. Who knows what driver it has? I haven't updated in like 3 years.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just think it comes down to, I mean, accepting the fact that your setup is like that, maybe working on it over time, but don't let it prevent you from playing. No.
It shouldn't stop you from enjoying the game at all. Oh, here is actually something interesting. Have you been able to play on an arcade setup, like on a machine? Yeah,
I actually did play on the machine that's currently in Santiago, and I mean, I haven't played on it for like 2 years so now, or 1 year or something. It's been a long time. But yeah, I have played on an arcade.
Have you found a huge difference between the arcade and home?
I just couldn't tell you because the offset has always been so different. The thing is, I feel like it's been badly configured, that the screen they use is like really bad. I don't think I've gotten a good example of what a properly maintained arcade setup really should be. I mean, I played on an arcade, but I think I played in the worst type of arcade. So I haven't really gotten a good experience at it. But
need to come to Australia and play on a CRT cabinet. Yeah. Now, one question I do need to ask, because you said that your friend, what was his name? Oh, the person that influenced you in the game, he doesn't understand English.
I mean, he probably understands, but he's not gonna do this entire interview. He's not gonna look for me.
Yeah.
I'll probably just link him to the interview. And he'll know whenever I say blaster, oh, he's talking about.
So, did you learn English as a second language?
Well, mostly from video games, but I also excelled on English lessons at school and all that.
Yeah, because I was going to say
it was always easy for me. It was always natural. I mean, it's not the best, but I can manage.
No, you've had a fluent English interview for the last hour and a half, so you know, hats off to you.
I just started a lot though, so it's not perfect.
Yeah, no, because I'm amazed that your English is as good as it is. I come from Chile because I didn't know if people spoke English commonly there or not.
More than other South American countries, but I think the highest rated country that speaks English in South America, I think it's Argentina.
Okay.
We're probably the second closest. Or it's like Argentina, Brazil, Chile. It's probably in that order.
Yeah, that is amazing. The other thing I wanted to ask, because yeah, I did see your designs for the controller. What are you doing at the moment at uni? Like, are you doing design or something like that?
I'm finishing my degree on product design right now.
Yeah, because the design looked really nice, and I thought, wow, you must be doing something.
Do I have some parts of the design posted somewhere?
On Facebook you did. So I saw some of the designs there.
It's probably an old version, but it started from there.
Yeah, it looks really, really nice. So yeah, that's why I wanted to ask, because it's like, there's no way that he's just doing this as a hobby and it looks this good. Like, it looks very well done.
I mean, I did specialize myself in CAD design. Obviously, I'm really bad at the financial part and stuff like that. I mean, my career actually focuses a bit on actually taking a project and developing on every step of the of how you develop the product or service. And I personally specialize myself in the computer design area.
Okay, fantastic.
So it's not really something that my career decided for. I actually went into CAD design on my own and started developing it.
That's cool. That is really, really cool. I'm just thinking if there's any other final questions, because we are hitting sort of the hour and a half mark. Either way, yeah, no, it's just really interesting because the whole time that, like, leading up to the interview and before the interview even, I was like, wow, I wonder what it's like for 2DX players in Chile. Like, you don't hear anything, like, you know, mostly it's America or Japan or the Asian countries. You hear nothing about South America whatsoever. So it's been really enlightening, honestly.
I hope people just understand a bit that it's what we have right now. It's a very incomplete experience of the whole process of what it is to play this game. But players who still actually play, we still enjoy it even if it's incomplete. I think that should be encouraging to other countries that are going through the same problems.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you can still get to a certain level with all the difficulties included. And you just have to keep in mind that as long as you love the game, you're always willing to come back and get better.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like I said, the experience is incomplete. I still need to play in a proper arcade cabinet, like I was mentioning. But I still consider myself fully developed, being Mania 2DX player.
Oh, and I do too, absolutely. Last question from Zyber, do you have any pets?
Yeah, I do have a dog.
Awesome, yeah, dog person.
It's a dachshund, if you actually are into breeds.
Awesome. Alright, well, I think we'll call it quits here because it is hitting sort of hour and a half. Thank you so much for joining me today, by the way.
And this guy in the back here, he has to go. He has been patiently waiting, playing on his PSP.
Oh, I feel so sorry. He's been quiet for the last hour and a half.
I promised I would get him to his home.
Right.
He's been patiently waiting there. Right. That's Horse K, by the way.
Awesome. Well, thank you to him for staying so quiet during the interview as well. It's very kind. And yeah, no, it's been a really awesome experience chatting to you about 2DX. Like, really enlightening. You've had a lot to sort of put out there. And yeah, guys, make sure that, you know, if you see Poll online, make sure that you say hello. Good job with the interview. Just ask him anything that we didn't follow up on today. But yeah, from me personally, yeah, it's been really awesome. It's been awesome chatting to you as well in my streams and online.
I had a lot of fun doing this interview, actually.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. At first I was a bit nervous, but I just tried to go through the interview in my own mind before, and it didn't seem as bad. I was like, let's go for it. At first I treated it like a joke, but then I was like, okay, now let's do it. And I actually try to get something productive out of it. I hope it has helped some people. Some good advice has come out of it. I hope so. I hope I have actually enlightened and motivated people. I mean, I know I said a lot straight, and I dropped a lot of truth bombs. I mean, a lot of people say that they're truth bombs. They're still opinions in the end. They're still, it's always an opinion, whether you like it or not, it's another thing. But I hope it helps people and gives a complete perspective on what it is to be, like you say, a player in general.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, before we do sign off though, I had some potential interview prospects down the bottom there. Is there anyone you'd like to see interviewed next?
I don't know, if you could get a hold of Buzz, it would be awesome, but I know he's like the silent type. I don't think he would actually want to. And I wouldn't like to see him uncomfortable. I would like to see the strongest point, you know?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, if he actually wants to, I would love him to be next. But if not, well, I don't know who have you not interviewed. You had like a list of possible people.
There was a small list, but you know, it's nothing major.
I thought you had already. You haven't interviewed Kevin.
No, I haven't. Not yet. No.
You should do it. You should interview him. I would really like to see what he has to say.
All right.
I don't know. I've been kind of admiring him as a player all the way, even though we don't talk at all. I would like to see his input.
All right. Well, I'll see if I can get in contact with him and sort something out. I mean, same thing happened with you. I just sort of said, all right, we'll make it happen, and then you know, here we are today. And obviously, it's not that scary, so we'll see if he'd be willing to do it. And yeah.
Let's hope so. I would, like I said, I would really like to listen to him. I mean, the only time I've heard like him talk and stuff like that, it's with some Sound Voltex streams. I really like how we play Sound Voltex. I would like not play, but I would enjoy his stream. You know, when he plays Sound Voltex. I don't know if he still plays it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'll see if I can make that happen. Either way, we'll wrap things up. Once again, seriously, it's been super good fun. And yeah, no. I'll catch you online again, hopefully soon.
It's been a pleasure. So thanks everyone for watching, to be honest, and coming to my stream. I hope I didn't offend anyone and actually help everyone with some advices. And yeah, you'll always see me playing there. You can always ask me questions if you're actually curious about, you know, details of what was not said here.
Yeah.
But I'm always there. You know, I'm a lurker by nature.
All right. Okay, well, we'll call it quits for now. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.